Okay, here we go. It is Wednesday. I had to look. Is that amazing? Because I don't care about days anymore. Because the only day I know I can pick out for you is that when I wake up, I know it's that day is Sunday because there's nothing really going on. It's very quiet and everything. The rest of the week, it's hard to tell what day. They're all the same. 80 years of all the same shit. Good God, world, you know? So listen up. Let's see. The Jerry of Ben and Jerry's ice cream company, Jerry, I think his last name's Cohen. I might be wrong. But anyhow, he quit. He quit over the fact that he believes the company that they were acquired by some almost 20 years ago was Unilever, and that they have been basically trying to censor him and the company from being the socially responsible company that they've always been. So they're more in support. They don't want to rock the boat. You know, you see that a lot now. You know, people in big companies shutting up, not saying anything because they don't want to rock the boat because Trump's very aggressive in his pursuit. That brings up an interesting topic, which I'll get to in a few minutes, but I just want to keep talking about Jerry. I like their ice cream. It's not always the easiest to find and the flavor you like. Down here, it's impossible. They don't have it. So you know that company just doesn't exist down here yet. If it does, I haven't seen it. There is a company that's similar in flavor basis. That's Poppy's. It's a gourmet type ice cream place. Because most of the places you go to, you're getting basically soft serve ice cream or yogurt, which is what we had yesterday. No, the day before we went out. We were out all day, and we went out late in the afternoon, and did take care of some things for my wife, and we were supposed to go shopping and everything. None of that happened because the things to take care of my wife took too long. Sitting around waiting for hours and then find out they don't have the drugs that the doctor prescribed. That's, you know, part of the core typical situation that we have here. I have to make a decision on that, and I will. Shortly after I talk to her. But that's it. Let's see. What else happened besides that? Okay, Robert Redford's passed away. We're still dealing with that. Donald Trump's in England. And they brought him to Westminster Abbey with a golden carriage. Now, I could tell you, you know, he's not going to be able to do what Kennedy did with the convertible, you know, the glass-domed convertible that he had. And he still, you know, he made a mistake and didn't think people just were willing to take chances that they took, and they shot him. So you're not going to see Trump going around in that, you know, a convertible or anything like that. But you're liable to see a gold-plated Lincoln or Cadillac, whichever the manufacturer is. I think it's a combination when they build these limos. It's going to be gold-plated. I can see that coming because he loves gold. It's very tacky. I mean, you know, I told you that, you know, I don't know how the inside of the is it the Oval Office where he meets people, or is it a meeting room? Anyhow, that's all that gold-plated and everything like that, and that how this new ballroom is going to look, because it's going to have all gold all over the place. But what he did at Taj Mahal, that was the tackiest place, and that place was depressing as hell. People that were in there were depressing. You never saw the gambling tables really getting excited. You didn't really have some great acts that were willing to play there because it was just depressing. expensive and depressing. Good location because I went to the there was another casino down there, not Taj Mahal. This one was different, and I used to go there all the time in the same area in the Bay Area, I guess it was called. And anyhow, that was a much better casino, lively, active. There were the casinos that went first that were not doing well were the ones that didn't seem to have that level of activity, that level of joy. And you need a certain level of joy if you're going to lose your money. You can't start off depressed because then it's just not you just don't want to be there, and you go someplace else. I think that's part of the problem with Atlantic City altogether. Although from what I'm understanding, that the casinos now are basically sports betting palaces. They're not really gaming places. They're electronic games. You don't get to play unless you want to play Texas Hold'em. I mean, you can't sit down and play, and make any money doing anything else but Texas Hold'em, really. Texas Hold'em's a simple game, but there's a certain amount of skill, but there's more luck involved than the skill with the luck. How you manage the luck, you know what I mean? It's difficult to explain, but you're not going to the level of skill that's used there is different than, like, say, regular 5-card stud poker or 7-card stud or something like that. It's a different level of card playing. You're playing against because you're basically playing against the deck when you play. It's like a glorified game of not solitaire. I don't want to say solitaire. It's you're playing against the deck. It's like blackjack. You play against the dealer. You're playing against the dealer. You're not playing against the other opponents per se. Okay, and there's a little click in there. You see those cards that they're dropped in the middle of the face up. And if 3 of them are aces, you say, I got 3 aces. Not necessarily so. You got to have a card that allows you to use them. It's a very complicated. At least when I play it online, it seems to be that part of the game's complicated. Otherwise, it's a very simple game. But anyhow, Trump's Taj Mahal didn't even get the point where poker was a really big thing. They were gone before poker became the big thing it is, and before they call it poker, but it's it's like in between or something. Anyhow, but so you had this depressing facility down there, and you have to wonder what he's doing to the rest of the buildings he's building, because he doesn't bring joy to a building. When he gets into a building or takes over a business or something like that, it immediately gets very depressing. He's doing that with the United States right now. The United States is getting depressing. When you start seeing armed men on the street, and that reminds this. They went through this with 9/11, especially in New York City. They went through this with 9/11, where you had armed patrols carrying automatic weapons marching in the streets, and in the airports you had military personnel with automatic weapons. Now, if you know anything about those they're short-barreled automatic weapons designed for urban warfare. The problem with that is that you can't just shoot one person with an automatic weapon. It's very difficult to take an accurate one shot at anything over 50 feet. I'll tell you what. I'll assume they're all experts, and I'll say 50 yards. But after that, you're not shooting sniper caliber weaponry. And the snipers that they use have a limit to about 250 yards, I think, if that. They're usually very, very close, because it's just too many people around. That's just the way the cities are. So anyhow, I could see that coming. That gold limousine coming. Well, right after he gets back, he'll probably try to get Saudi Arabia or somebody to pay for it because he knows if he tries to pay for it himself, he's not going to happen. But the golden carriage led by horses, I don't think so, because horses can't stand the smell of human shit, and that's what's that's Donald Trump. Okay, so now next up, what did I have next? I don't know what I got next. Let's see. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, that's not gonna do it. So we're gonna go over to here. Oh, what's his name? Patel is on testifying before the House now. He did the Senate yesterday. He lost quite literally lost his mind because he's another one of these people that thinks that has a God complex, you know. They're talking about on TV. CNN's talking about Robert Redford. I told you I loved him in a lot of movies. I mean, he was just really. Trump did say one thing right, that he had about the string where he put about 7 great movies together, and he's going to be remembered for every one of them, But that's all right. I loved Love Story, and critics hated it, so, Okay. There are a lot of musicians and actors and whatnot of my generation are passing away. Well, they were a little older, I mean, Dylan is about 6 years older than I am, and you got Willie Nelson out there, I'm gonna cry when Bob Dylan dies, but if he dies before me, the Stones. I just can't believe Jagger at his age is still prancing around the stage. I don't think he can do it every night anymore, but he slows down a little bit or something. I don't know, or they've given him special vitamins. There's a lot of controversy going around. Pro football is something you need to take a real good look at now, because it's starting to show up as not the honest game everybody thinks it is. You have Brady, who owns part of the Raiders, but as a TV analyst, was sitting with the team, sitting with the coaches during the game or before the game the other day. He's either going to have to not be able to do the Raider games, or they're going to have to do something else. They're paying Justin Bieber 7 figures, which is like to do Coachella in 2026. I don't think there'll be one, but that's all right. If I was you and you have Facebook or the deal with TikTok, that's another one. That's a good one. Supposedly, one of the people involved is Oracle, which I think is pretty okay. But I have I have my doubts that that's going to be a uncensored, ungovernment influenced company after this. And if I were the people that were there, I would, the users, I'd be very, very, very skeptical of everything that's going on with that company and using that company. All social media is going to be start to be censored. If it's monitored now, They haven't started censoring it yet, really bad. They did a few months ago. I had a lot of problems with Facebook coming out with stuff saying that half the stuff I was putting up that I was taking from somebody else that was allowed to be on the air, but because it was me, they were taking it down. And then I realized that just one person complained about something, and because I did it, I complained about something, and somebody comments on say Facebook, and I complained about it, and next thing I know, it's down, and the guy's suspended, and everything else. They don't care. They don't wait to see, 100 people, 1,000 people, or something like that are upset by it. One person is all it takes. They have these influencers or censors roaming around, so you got to watch yourself there. Because, I would repost something from a friend of mine, and mine would be taken down, and her original post would be standing up. And I just, I got a little nervous about that. I figured that was something was wrong there, But that's what they do, They use they don't come out and say it's government censorship. They say it's against Facebook's policies or Instagram policies. That's how they'll censor you, It's why I get nervous when I try to do one of these videos live. I have a lot of trouble with my internet connection, and I don't have it anywhere else. Only when I start to do live videos, So I don't know. I don't want to think the worst, but it's quite possibly the worst. Because I do criticize the Colombian government, But people down here are used to it, and they kind of like don't care, or they care, they just say, what are we going to do? I got my friends who are Colombians, and that's basically what they say, They don't get involved because they're worried about censorship and retaliation. You'll get to know what that's like in the U.S. pretty soon. All right. Oh, gas. At least it's coming out my mouth, not my ass. Well, some people say it's the same thing. But anyhow, don't forget to subscribe to my video. Keeps me active, I got somebody that was just talking to the guy I'm horrible with names, so don't get mad at me when I don't remember names. But my subscriber from yesterday came back with something very, very nice he said to me, and I appreciate that. It's keeping me going. Even if it's an AI chatbot, it's keeping me going. So anyhow, subscribe, comment, piss on it, whatever you will. Just let me know what's going on, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.